Pretty nice park I'm at right now. Okay, what's going on YouTube? I am on a walk right now. This is my second walk of the day. I'm at 15,000 steps. I'm doing very well. I took off from the gym today. It was my first day off from the gym in a hot minute. And yeah, I'm dedicated to getting the rest of this fat off me and start leveling up my bank account, my physique, and just my life in general. In order to do that, I've looked great, I've looked good. A lot of people think I look elite, and I guess compared to most people I am, and the rest of the planet, and the people that decide to take care of themselves and don't go to the gym every day or only a couple days a week or not at all, you're going to see the difference between the people that are in that type of routine. So it better be paying off. It takes years and years to mold the body that you want. It doesn't happen in months, it doesn't happen in days, it takes years to get in superior and elite condition. So I've been doing this now for roughly six to 7 years, and started in prison 6-7 years ago. Half the time I was training in prison, half the time here, and now we're finally getting to that point. I've been very fortunate to be where I am in life right now because of this industry and fitness in general, and being able to make money doing what I do. So yeah, I've been taking strolls on I've been discovering more of the areas that I live and finding more parks and more trails. Definitely a lot more land and a lot more space and a lot more trails than there were in Florida. And my overall experience so far, I'm 2 months in living here. I traveled here and visited here quite a few times last year, but this is my first time actually living here, driving around, going to different businesses and establishing where I like to go. And for the most part, everything I do and like to do can be done within 10-15 minutes now, where I was driving around a lot and wasn't really sure where I was going and where I needed to be. But Houston is so freaking massive, man. You can stay in just one part, just the northern part, and be busy and have every gym, everything that you ever need, and then some. So the one thing I'll say I like about Houston compared to other places I've been is the space. Everything is cheaper, gas is cheaper, rent is cheaper, houses are cheaper, everything is just cheaper. Some of the things that I miss are all the green and the hills. It's kind of flat in Texas, although there's a lot of woods. As you guys can see, I'm finding, half of Texas is still relatively green, but it's not as thick and full and as grown as places like New York and other places on the East Coast with more hills and more mountains. This is where it flattens out and starts to slowly turn into desert and more dry. So where I live is kind of on the edge of being humid and dry. It can be in the 70s and feel sticky and humid. It's definitely humid often. It can get cool at night. Traffic is pretty much always busy no matter where you are. All the little towns and cities in between and outside Houston are all busy and all crowded. Overall, so far, my experience is about a 7.5 out of 10, which I suppose is enough to keep me. But I'm enjoying it so far. Let me take a couple steps and think about some other thoughts on that. Yeah, so I'm like at this preserve, and it's next to this big body of water. I don't know, I think it's like some big, considered a creek. It looks like a river to me. Yeah, so I guess I'm enjoying it for the most part. I'm 2 months in. I guess it's starting to feel more like home. But at the same time, it doesn't. Nowhere really feels like home anymore. I feel like I can live anywhere, but I really like Denver. I really wouldn't mind being in the Rockies, but I really don't want to deal with snow. That's my thing. I hate how hot it gets in all these places in the South, but I hate the snow and how cold it stays in places like New York and the Northeast and the Northwest. Otherwise, I love the climate. I love the layout of the roads back in New York and upstate New York and a lot of those other states in that area. I love the hills. I love the forest. I love how dense and green everything is. You don't really see that down here in Texas. But the people, I'll be honest, it seems like I don't really vibe with as many women here. A lot of Spanish and Latino women, and those always seem to be the ones I hang out with or vibe with here the most over even white girls. And I'll be honest, I guess I'd entertain talking to a black woman, but for some reason I just, that's never happened for me. It's always been a white girl or a Latina. It's mostly Latinas in the past couple of years, at least the one showing more interest out of anybody else. I don't know what it is, but it's like Louisiana and Georgia, those places I go through there, and those women just latch onto me and don't want me to leave. So I'm not trying to base where I stay off dating or a woman, but it does seem like it is more difficult for me to find a legitimate date here with a woman. But it's also kind of complex when there's so many other influencers and people with Instagrams and social media followings doing what I do. It's hard to dissect the difference between me and what other people do. And honestly, man, I'm really busy. I do a lot of shit that people don't see, and it's like, I don't really feel like taking that. That's the one thing I hate about dating normal people and being on dating apps, is they don't really understand the grind behind social media and what they're looking at. I've had people say, well, what do you do for a living? Think I do all that stuff on social media for free, for fun? It is fun, but I gotta get paid, man. All those followers, you think that's just for fun? Whatever. But all in all, people are pretty nice. Southern hospitality for sure. I almost think there's more of it here than there is in Florida. I'm liking it so far for the most part. I don't know if I will stay for sure. It's looking like it's probably about a 70% chance I'll be staying here and renewing my lease, or I'm most likely actually going to get a bigger apartment. I don't know if I'll do it in the same complex, but I'm definitely getting a bigger apartment, unless for some reason I decide to be complacent and want to spend less money, because ultimately right now I'm not going to spend the max amount of dollars that I can spend on a home, because I want to save that money for traveling, for a new car. The next big thing that I'm going to buy is going to be a new car. I'm most likely not going to be in a home or something, a more stable long-term situation with a house, for probably another 2-3 years, because I want to be able to come and go, and I don't want to be binded to something that's my property and have all this stuff to take care of as a single man. I want to be able to have the flexibility to be able to, and I'm just being real, to be able to fall into, if I happen to meet a woman that I fall in love with or I really like, I want to be able to fall into their routine with them and be able to make their life easier, especially if they got a kid or 2 kids. Kind of pushing the envelope, ladies, if you got more than 2 kids, unless they're really well behaved and in their teens and almost ready to be out the door. I don't know if I could do it. 1 kid, 2 kid, you know, as long as they're not freaking babies or infants. They know how to do a majority of things by themselves without being walked through everything. So it is cool to be able to have the ability to be able to do that, to go travel and see different people whenever I want to, whenever I need to. I can make anybody a priority. You know, I can go grocery shopping and do all that stuff. So if I ground myself in a place like Texas, where I feel like, or Houston or whatever, where I feel like I'm not really vibing with women, you know, I'd like to live somewhere where I'm able to vibe with a person that lives somewhere in that town or that city. And it's still early on, so I can't say too much yet. But I go so many other places in the country that I vibe with people in these other places so much better, like Georgia, and it's just interesting. I don't know, man. Georgia, California, all the California girls, I always seem to vibe with them. Oh, there's a real hot California chick who's IFBB Pro. That's all I'm going to say, guys. IFBB Pro. I've been friends with her and followed her for a while. She's out there in California. We've been friends for a minute, talk semi-often, and I've been dying to meet this person on the low, I'm not going to lie, but we'll keep that quiet for now, because we never know how life is going to be. But one of my plans would be to go, I would love to go to California for my 33rd birthday, which is in September. So we shall see what happens these next couple of months and how I chase my dreams, and if I get some more contracts. Listen, all I need, guys, to be real with you, is one more contract that pays me somewhere in the ballpark of like $1,500 to $3,000 per month, and that's just one contract, and they better give me all the other good stuff that comes with it as well. Travel, clothes, whatever the case may be, supplements, whatever. I don't know, food, goodies, you never know, anything, any type of company. And that'll allow me to travel more and pay more videographers and do a lot more work. It'll help me be able to pay for a nicer car, because I'm not going to be able to pay for the car up front, or even make I might be able to make a big down payment, but right now, still got to chip away at paying off the car that I got now. You know, I wasn't even driving. A little over a year ago, guys, I wasn't even driving, didn't have my license. I was without a license from 25 to 31, because I got suspended and went through all that arrest stuff, so yeah. Anyways, I gotta go, because this park is about to close soon and my arm is getting sore holding my phone. But all in all, Texas is cool. There's some parks that I can go walk at and get my steps in, So there's some parks I can walk at and get my steps in. I know generally most of the stores and most places that I'm going on a regular basis. And I'm in a pretty solid routine. I go to all certain gyms, and there's quite like 2-3 certain specific gyms that I go to. That's pretty routine. Then I go to Alpha Land. It's cool to be, you know, in the mix of influencers, and this is definitely 10 out of 10 as far as that goes. Being around other influencers and athletes and other companies being here. So anyways, I'm gonna hang it up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video about me talking about Texas and my experience so far. YouTube videos eventually are gonna be up, or eventually gonna be leveled up at some point. I don't know when. So for now, it's just me doing it on my phone. But as soon as I get into a routine, being steady, living in one place and meet more people, it'll happen. So please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.